right, you want to kick it off?
Yeah, let's do it, man.
All right, so thank you so much, everyone, for being here this morning. To Bilal's point a little bit earlier, it's 8 a.m. So I think about it that there's 3 different reasons why you might be here this morning. One of them is you're new to Databricks and you want to understand Lakeflow a little bit better before he covers a lot of things during the keynotes. Second reason you might be here today is, well, you want to know what the heck is happening to Delta Life tables and how does it all play with Lakeflow. The third reason is you just needed an 8 a.m. session so that you can expand some coffee at work. And either one, I hope you find this a little bit helpful. So I'm Josue, and I'm the VP of Data and AI Architecture at SEP, which is a consulting company. I'm part of the Databricks MVP program, which is like an ambassador program thing. I'm part of the product advisory board for Databricks, and I'm an advisor to a few other companies like Sigma. With me here, I have the one and only, the one and only.
Well, actually, there's like 5 Bilals at Databricks now.
Okay.
I have a document which explains the differences between the Bilals. But please continue.
Is it in Excel, though?
No, it should be.
Okay.
It's not.
But I have the one and only Bilal Aslam here, who is the Senior Director of Product. Bilal, can I give a little intro and overview of what you do?
Absolutely. So thank you, Josue. My name is Bilal. I've been at Databricks for about 6 years. I was a customer of Databricks twice. Very early days, the bad old days of Hive Metastore, raw Parquet files, and tried to do some pretty crazy things with this platform very early. I look after what is known as Lakeflow, our unified data engineering solution. I also look after our compute platform, so serverless compute. So if you want to throw some tomatoes at me, or if you have questions about serverless, very happy to take that. My claim to fame is that I was a customer of Databricks when this company was 50 people. So I was once on a call with Ali, who's our CEO, and I was complaining deeply about how hard it was to understand performance in Spark, and Ali was listening and nodding along and all that. Then when I joined Databricks years later, he sent me the call notes and he said, "Now go fix it." I was like, darn it, I have to go do this now. But yeah, I'm excited to be here.
No, awesome. And well, we're going to start off with, like I said, this warning here.
ChatGPT is down, but please,
Yeah.
forward-looking statement. We're not making promises about features and roadmaps and such.
So let's start it off with one of the questions that at the beginning some of you were wondering is really, what is Lakeflow? So Bilal,
Sure.
take it away.
All right, so I'll answer the question directly. So Lakeflow is unified data engineering from Databricks. And I'll give a little bit more color to the why. So Lakeflow is actually 3 things under this unified product umbrella. It's Lakeflow Connect, which helps you get structured and unstructured data into Databricks. And the point of Lakeflow Connect is it's point and click, obviously has a great API, so you can start bringing in data from everywhere. And the thing to think about Lakeflow Connect is nobody actually wants to spend time ingesting data. That's like pure commodity, undifferentiated heavy lifting. You need the data. You want it to be at the right price point. You need it to be efficient. But like no data engineer wakes up in the morning and says, gosh, I'm so excited that I get to write this connector for this random API and I have to evolve as the API evolves, right? Nobody wants to do it. And if you do want to do it, tell me, because that's crazy. So that's Lakeflow Connect. Then once you have your data in Databricks, so you have bringing on all this data.
Sorry, Bilal, should we? I'll give you this.
No, that's okay.
There you go.
There's slides.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so Connect has this notion of connectors. No surprise, it's pretty obvious. And a connector can connect to a source. And the key thing is it can incrementally load data. So it actually knows how to load just the changes whenever possible. That's not always possible, but it tries to do its best. So as your connector, your pipeline runs, it's overall cheaper than you just doing it yourself or you doing a full load every time. There's a little bit of thing here I want to talk about, which is, first of all, there's many different types of sources. There are API sources, but there are also databases. And databases have been around forever. They're going to outlast us. They're the most critical piece of infrastructure in the world. And as a result, the way I used to work on operating systems a long time ago, databases are actually the order of complexity of operating systems. They're super old, they have lots of versions. There's this thing called the binary log. And if you can read the binary log of the database, you can pick up just the changes. So the real magic here is not just the SAS connectors, it's the ability to read from SQL Server and like the 8 different versions of it out in the wild right now to read those changes. Same with Postgres, right? So that's Connect. Connect helps you get all the data. DLT is about efficiently transforming, cleaning, aggregating, and reshaping that data. We'll get into more of that later. And then Jobs is about orchestrating it. It's an orchestrator. So if you use Airflow, you've used Dagster, Prefed, Azure Data Factory. Its job is to run workflows, keep them running, retries, alerting, and things like that. So,
Yeah, and I was going to say, if you notice, if you go, thank you very much.
yeah.
If you go back to this, you'll call.
Sorry, Josue, keep talking.
Okay. You'll see that I put in there a star in there, and that the reason is, Lakeflow is going to be great for a lot of use cases, not every use case, and Databricks is aware of that, and
Yeah.
we'll get a little bit more into that a little bit later on in the presentation. So Bilal, I think you covered a lot more than we practiced there as part of the details, so I'm just going to get more details out of you on this. So
Absolutely.
let's go through each of those right now. So
Yeah.
talk a little bit more about Connect.
Okay, great. So, so the genesis for Connect was, so who here uses autoloader? Okay, like quite a few hands. And if you don't know, autoloader is a Databricks capability where you just point it at a source of files in, say, cloud storage like S3 or GCS or whatever. It just slurps them up into Delta tables, and now you can use them for the rest of your business, right? So we obviously have a lot of customers who use autoloader because, again, who wants to manage that ingestion themselves? How do you incrementally load it? How do you evolve schemas and all that? So Connect is, think of it as the evolution of data ingestion at Databricks. I won't belabor the point. We designed it from upfront, from the get-go, to be point and click, right? We talked to several hundred customers, and just uniformly, every customer said, give me an API, but also give me a UI. And the key insight there is that there are actually more people than just the data team that need to ingest data. So the cool thing behind Connect is, today, if you go into new, add data, you'll see a couple of tiles, and you're going to see more soon. You're going to see the ability to slurp up data into Databricks in many parts. Like in the future, in Genie, in AI BI dashboards, like anywhere where I'm working with data, pretty much you'll see Connect kind of as a add data button. So like in your businesses, in your companies, you'll have hopefully fewer people coming to you and say, hey, how do I load data from here and there? Because they'll just have that capability. Yeah, I think that covers Connect.
I think so.
Yeah.
I'm sure you'll cover it much more in
Yeah,
detail,
happy to
and the
take more.
teams are going to cover much more in detail throughout the session.
So DLT, I think there are a lot of people who are familiar with it, but I think, so DLT is a declarative ETL framework. And by declarative systems are really powerful because unlike procedural or imperative systems, instead of telling the system exactly the steps to execute, think of SQL, right? When you write a SQL query, you don't tell Databricks or any warehouse like, you know, here are the exact steps you have to perform to satisfy my query. You ask it what you want, and it figures out. Like there's a query optimizer, there's a scheduler, there are all these different pieces. The system takes care of it for you. So that's a declarative system. And the key thing here is that DLT is declarative. So you tell it what to do, the transformation to make. That transformation is a SQL query or a Python data frame operation. And the key thing here is that if you do that, and if everything works well, then you just focus on that part of your workload. You just focus on reshaping the data instead of figuring out how do I materialize it, how do I scale the infrastructure, how do I auto-scale this and that. There's a lot of goodness that comes from it. There's a lot of like tricky things that come from it too.
Well, I was going to say, and like the way that I think about it is making pure data engineering feel a little bit more like with the rules of software engineering.
Yeah.
Would that be a fair statement?
Yeah, I think so. So I guess I'm very happy to talk about this because it's like one of those really powerful paradigms, but also it's like to Josue's point, it doesn't do everything. So there are things like if you want to call an API, that is not a declarative operation. If you want to run a for loop and write stuff out to disk, that's not a declarative operation. So kind of my thinking has evolved here, which is that Spark is super powerful. It's like the Swiss Army knife of the world. It's the world's most popular data framework. And Spark is great for everything. You can do literally anything with Spark, right? Like you can do I don't know, genetic algorithms if you want. And then jobs. I think everybody, like, is there anybody here who doesn't know jobs? Pretty much everybody should know jobs. It's an orchestra. Oh,
It's
sorry,
okay.
that's a hard
Okay,
question.
let me rephrase this.
Yeah.
Who here has not used jobs before inside of Databricks?
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. So jobs is an orchestrator. So if you're familiar with Airflow, think of it as a much simpler point and click, but also a scriptable and automatable orchestrator. It automates everything in Databricks. It scripts, it orchestrates SQL, Python, notebooks. And this is sort of the, oh, it's the wrong screenshot, but that's fine. But basically, you build a DAG, a directed acyclic graph of tasks, work to be done, and it runs them reliably. Yeah.
Yeah, sounds good. And yeah, and fairness, this is so interconnected with everything else. It's even hard for me as we were putting this together. I was like, well, where do you really draw the line with it? Because it's so integrated to everything else. So with that said, I think we had a little point there, end-to-end observability. And I call out, if anyone knows me, I like to joke about Excel. I call in there that it doesn't track when something gets exported to Excel, at least not yet. So that's a very high-level overview of Lakeflow. Now, that's great if you're new to the ecosystem or first time you hear about Lakeflow, but for those of you that, I'm going to take this poll again. How many of you have worked with Delta Life tables before? Well, can I ask a bold question too?
Please, by all means.
How many of you have not enjoyed working with Delta Life tables?
Please be honest. We're my friends here. Yeah.
I'm one of them, guys. So
Yeah.
just so you know, okay.
Yeah.
So with that said, how does Lakeflow fit in with Delta Life tables and vice versa?
Yeah. So Delta Life Tables is or DLT, is the declarative ETL portion. And by the way, I'll take some wild guesses on the parts that this gentleman, and by the way, I am a heavy user of DLT, and I started using it more and more a year ago, and I was just like, hey, we got to fix this. So the things, I'll just tell you about what we fixed, okay? Because there were some parts that were like, oh, come on, man, it's got to be easier. So I'll start with the thing that come up all the time. The biggest thing was incomplete compatibility with Unity Catalog. So specifically, a lot of customers were like, hey, I have a pipeline, that's awesome. Can I write to different schemas in UC? We were like, no. So we fixed that. So that's generally available. Now a single, and by the way, if you think about it, it's a really obvious thing, but we fixed it. The second category of issues that were kind of these Delta table format incompatibilities. So things like, oh, can I do liquid partitioning on this table? No, you can't. Or, can I do alter columns? Nope, can't. There's a whole class of these. We fixed all of them. So they're gone. So if you think about it from a data intelligence platform, it's now you should have been there from day one, but it's fixed now. So it's fully compatible with Unity Catalog, has almost every single Delta feature in the world enabled on the data sets it creates. Then the third thing that came up a lot was, hey, the development process is slow and buggy, right?
I actually have a slide for this. So
Yeah.
There you go.
So there we go. Oh, well, you want to talk through this?
No, you're doing a good job. Go ahead.
Okay, yeah, so this was this tough error handling. So you were building it, you would previously build DLTs in a notebook. And that sounds great, but actually there's a little subtle trick there, which was that because it's a declarative system, you would write a command, you would run it, it would say, okay. You actually have to run the pipeline separately. The pipeline actually compiles and runs as a unit. It was super confusing. So we fixed that, and you're going to see a super awesome, we're calling it the IDE for data engineering. It's a brand new purpose-built IDE in the workspace with files and file structures and tests and everything. And it's just designed for building pipelines, right? Again, it should have been there from day one, but it's pretty awesome. And the other thing was the execution. Oh, go ahead. Actually, it's available already. It's already in beta. So you have to ask your account team to enable that beta for you. So when I say it's beta, it's not in every cloud right now. So we're rolling it out. So it's super cool, and you'll never go back. So we're seeing 96% retention on this new IDE. You use it once, you'll never go back. And what's cool about this is that we also spend a lot of time making the inner loop faster, the development loop. So the time from when you type something and you run it, it could be minutes sometimes. It was go get a coffee. Now it's order of seconds, and it's getting faster and faster. We're rolling out some major changes. The errors are much better. The errors would be obscure, Because this thing, DLT, sits on top of Spark, sometimes you would see Spark stack traces, which is nonsense. So we fixed almost every one of them. If you find one, send it to me. I'll fix it. We rewrote all the documentation for DLT, like from scratch. We wrote like 50+ articles. We like reorganized everything. Oh, the other thing is we integrated it completely with the assistant. So now the assistant actually understands some of the DLT nuances and how to generate code for it.
Yeah.
So yeah.
To give you a quick more backdrop, again, like I already shared a little bit, I've been an anti-DLT person for the last 3 years, basically, since it got released. So I don't take it lightly when I tell you that for the first time in 3 years, this is something that I actually would use myself. So I don't take that lightly saying that. So it's gotten a lot better. I got to share a lot of feedback with Bilal and a lot of the team behind the scenes. And they were literally telling me, tell us everything that you think is wrong. Like we want to know it because then they can prioritize the most impactful things. And I would say 85% of the things that I called out have been addressed. And so it's very, very promising where it's at today.
There's one other thing that we did change, which will not be in the keynote or anything like that, but it's going to be communication to our customers. We're actually dropping the prices on it a good amount. So specifically, the serverless part of DLT, if you run DLT pipelines on serverless compute, which means it spins up really fast, it auto-scales really quickly, you get the enzyme incremental ETLs. It'll automatically figure out changes in data and only use those. We drop prices on DLT, which are rolling out today through the end of the week, where the serverless is now competitive with Classic on Spot. So like for ingestion, transformation, change data cap, it's like super competitive. So it's actually, like, it's also super competitive with jobs. So you can like use the declarative system, you don't have to think about the cost anymore as much. So that's the other thing we haven't really talked about.
Now I'm gonna take a quick segue. So right now we just talked a lot about the things that were troublesome with DLTs that the team has addressed. To the credit to it's not all bad things and where things were at. So I actually want to give Bilal the opportunity to share some of the things that really the reason is why didn't, and I'm going to go back to the slide there. Yeah. Why not start from scratch?
Yeah.
If DLT had these different issues, why not start from scratch? And Bilal, if you want to go ahead and share a little bit of, here's some of the good things.
Yeah, so a few things, right? So the big win with DLT is just time savings. So the thing that I talked to like hundreds of customers who use DLT, and there's like one theme that came up again and again. It's like, man, if you fix these bugs and these limitations, it's like adding a couple of data engineers to the team. It's that powerful because now I don't have to worry about infrastructure. I don't have to worry about orchestration. There's three things that came up really well. One was you no longer have to think in terms of batch or streaming. It has both. So for example, if you're doing batch you can actually mix and match batch computations and streaming computations. And the semantics are it's like literally you do a read stream versus a read. That's it. You can tune latency versus cost. So you can have a streaming pipeline and run it in triggered mode. So you can control the cost, right? So you can run it every hour, every 20 minutes or whatever. So it's pretty awesome. So that unlocks a set of capabilities for your business because you typically have a small number of low latency use cases and a lot of these batch high latency use cases. You can mix them, you can mix and match them on the same platform. And when you look at something like dbt, you can't do that, right? So that's just like a platform limitation. It was never built for that. So that's super powerful. Less code, there's no extra code for it. Yeah. Data quality is an area where something like half of our DLT customers use data quality. I think we need to do a lot more here.
Yes,
I'm excited because right now you can express your data quality intent. These are basically row-level checks. I want to go make this aggregate checks. I want to give you out-of-the-box dashboards. I want to give you ability to take action. The holy grail for me, which I would love to do, is to actually have a quarantine and reprocess flow. So when you find bad data, put it away, then give you a way to reprocess it. I would love to do it. We have all the building blocks.
I literally had someone ask me yesterday, hey, this is literally that scenario.
Absolutely would love to do it. That's on my radar. Then finally, change data capture is big, right? So this is slowly changing dimensions, type 1 and type 2. It actually is magical. It's instead of thousands of lines of brittle scripts, it's one line of SQL or Python. On this one, we greatly improved price performance. So at scale, with the largest customers, they were saying, hey man, this is getting really expensive. we found a bunch of performance problems. So it's actually much more performant now, and you don't have to kind of manage it yourself. So this is a very common use case. Most companies have something where they need to maintain type 1 or type 2 dimensions. It just automates that, one line of code. So these are the good parts. There's others.
Yeah, yeah. And I mean, for me, this is the recurring theme, like I said. For me personally, I did not enjoy DLTs for the last 3 years. That has changed. But I kept wondering, like, where's the value? Every time I would ask folks, these are the things that they would call out. This is what DLTs does very well, and the reason why so many still shows it, and I think part of the reason why Databricks kept it around. So now, like I said, I want to make sure we have time for Q&A.
Yeah.
So how many of you use third-party tools inside of Databricks for orchestration, ingestion, or transformation? So like your Fivetrans, et cetera. Okay. So with that is, I guess Bilal, well, actually, no, I'll speak to this part, and that is, I asked this question to Bilal more than a few times. I got the opportunity to work behind the scenes with helping Lakeflow. But on top of that, part of what I do really as a business sometimes is advise ISV companies that are partnered with Databricks. And sometimes that can create a little bit of a conflict, right? Because I want both to win. So one of the questions that I asked Bilal and I asked Sarah Brampman that works with ISV teams too is, how do you deal with a competitive nature of it? And Bilal, the way that he put it in an interview that I did with him is, we want Databricks to have as much value out of the box as possible, which is part of the value propositions for Databricks that I talk about a lot. Databricks offers a lot out of the box. It's not a marketing pitch. This is really my genuine conviction as to the value of Databricks versus other platforms. But Bilal, I guess, can you put it a little bit more in your words? How do you deal with the overlaps?
Absolutely. Yeah, so we can take very concrete examples, right? So let's say data ingestion. There is a rich set of partners out there. There's Fivetran, there's Matillion, there's, Rivery, there's many, many more, right? If you just think about it from a company standpoint, right? Like, Databricks is not going to be in the business of building hundreds and thousands of connectors. That's a company that builds connectors, right? So it's exactly what Josue said, which is there are certain abilities that the market you have come to expect out of the box in Databricks. Hundreds of customers told me, hey, Salesforce is such a common data source. It's almost like cloud files. Like, I don't want to go use something else. I don't want to buy another contract for this. But then consider like some regional CRM, right? Like, will we build that? Very unlikely. So the way I think about this is exactly right, which is, hey, for the very common sources for ingestion, we'll have the capabilities in the inbox, and we'll make them hyper efficient at scale. So we'll make sure that those ones are absolutely top notch. And by the way, you should also feel free to go to other vendors, right? So Fivetran has great connectors. They're battle tested. So you're like, I'm on Fivetran, that's awesome, and the rest of my job is to make sure they work really well.
Yeah,
so you have that
has
choice.
a great relationship with Prophecy.
Yep, so you have that choice. We could look at DBT, right? So if you're using DBT, please keep using it on Databricks. Like, we'd love for you to be using DB-SQL. We don't want you to have to do 2 migrations from DBT and over to DLT or whatever. In fact, with DBT, we're kind of going the other way. You can use materialized views and streaming tables inside your DBT project. So you can get some of the benefits of incremental ingestion and materialized views, which are sort of views that are maintained by the system, right? So we're kind of going the other way and saying, hey, use this partner tool, please. Like, we'll actually make that tool better. And for jobs, right? Jobs is awesome, but if you're using Airflow, keep using it. Like, there's an Airflow set of operators that we maintain.
And sometimes, realistically too, sometimes you have other platforms besides Databricks, and sometimes there is value in being able to orchestrate things from a centralized location outside of Databricks, and that's a valid use case. There's trade-offs, just like with anything. So.
Yeah. So we're definitely not interested in sort of restricting your choice. You have that choice. The out-of-the-box has to be great, though. So you can just get started, get work done.
Yeah. So like I said, I want to make sure we have time for questions. So Bilal, 30 seconds, how to get started.
Yeah. So Lakeflow is GA. So you can start using Lakeflow Connect for data ingestion. You can start using DLT for transforming and reshaping your data. Jobs is available, so please start using it today. There are certain features that are in beta or preview, so ask your account teams. Please ask them, work with them, and they'll guide you turn the right things on for you. But yeah, just get started with it.
All right, I think we are just about out of time here. I would encourage you, first off, thank you so very much, everyone, for being here.
Yeah, thank you.
I don't take it for granted that you took the time this morning to be here with us. If you want to connect with Bilal, come to him. If you want to connect with me on LinkedIn or anything, also happy to do so. Thank you so very much for your time.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.